Sometimes sleep is a salvation, a place to hide from reality. But what if, right there, behind closed eyes, someone is waiting for you to wake up as someone else? In this video, you'll hear 4 stories based on real experiences of sleep paralysis, unfamiliar hands, a faceless presence, and a body that no longer belongs to you. Don't forget, it's just a dream until you open your eyes. My name is Alex. I live alone, in a regular rental apartment on the outskirts of town. Nothing special. Work, home, silence, sometimes way too much silence. Lately, my sleep has been strange. Not nightmares, exactly. More like I never fully fall asleep, like I'm just floating on the edge, hearing the fridge hum, the cars outside, and not knowing if I'm dreaming or awake. Every night, it's the same ritual. A bit of YouTube before bed, lamp on the nightstand, a glass of water, phone under the pillow. I always lie on my back, easier to relax that way. Blanket pulled up to my chin, night light on. Dim, warm, just enough not to feel the dark completely. No panic, just the usual, familiar, low-level anxiety. Background noise that's long been part of my nights. I fell asleep, or at least I thought I did. I don't know how much time passed. Half an hour? An hour. But at some point, I opened my eyes and realized I couldn't move. Complete paralysis. Eyes open, mind fully aware. But my whole body was pinned. I couldn't twitch a finger or move my tongue. Even my breath was shallow and strained, like I had to pull air through wet fabric. I tried to tense up, to scream, to move, anything. Nothing worked. The panic built up like a weight in my chest. My ears were ringing. The only thing I could hear was a deep, low hum, like an old TV left on with no signal, buzzing inside my skull. I didn't know if I was dreaming or awake. It all felt too real. The mattress pressing against my back, the blanket brushing against my chin. And then I realized I wasn't alone in the room. My vision was limited. I was on my back and could only see straight ahead, maybe a little to the sides, and in the darkest corner of the room, where the shadow of the wardrobe fell, I saw something. A shape. It just stood there, tall, almost touching the ceiling, black on black, but clearly not part of the room. It wasn't furniture, wasn't clothes, wasn't a lamp. It was something else. It didn't move. It didn't breathe. It just watched. I don't know how to explain it. It had no face, no eyes, but I felt it watching me, like its gaze had weight, pressing down on my chest. I couldn't blink. Even if I could, I wouldn't, because I knew if I closed my eyes, it would come closer. It didn't move, but I swear, it was closer than it was a minute ago. And I just lay there, frozen, doing nothing, but silently losing my mind. From fear, I tried to grab hold of something in my head, logic, memory, anything. And then somewhere in the back of my mind, one word surfaced: sleep paralysis. I'd read about it, seen videos, people describing the same thing, waking up, unable to move, while something stands in the room watching. It's not real, I told myself. You're just dreaming, it's your brain messing with you. But every part of me screamed. This was not a trick. My throat was dry, my palms damp. My heart felt like it was about to rip through my chest. My body was frozen, but the sensations were more real than ever. And then, it turned its head. Just a little. Slowly, quietly, but I saw it. It knew I was awake. It had been waiting. And now, it was staring right at me. I shut my eyes, because I just couldn't take it anymore. And the second I did, I felt it closer. I don't know how long it lasted. A minute? 5? Time stretched and thickened. I just lay there, trapped in my own body, eyes wide open, staring into the darkness, where something was standing, watching, and then, suddenly, like someone pulled a string, I gasped. I could breathe again. I blinked. I sat up. I shot out of bed and flipped on the light. The room was empty. The corner, empty. No sign of anything. No shadow. No figure. Only silence. And my heart, still pounding somewhere in my throat. I sat on the bed for a long time, just listening. Not for sounds, but for the silence that was left behind. And just as I started to calm down, I looked at the wall, the one near the corner, and I saw it. A faint smudge on the wallpaper, exactly where I thought it had been standing, like someone had rested their palm there. Wide, blurred, dark, dry. I don't know how it left that behind, and I don't know if it'll come back, but ever since then, I've never slept on my back again, and I never turn off the nightlight. My name is Nick. Lately, it feels like I don't sleep at all. I go to bed, but wake up exhausted. My whole body aches, my head is foggy, and when I open my eyes in the morning, there's this weird white noise in my vision. Like I wasn't resting, just floating in emptiness. At first I thought it was just burnout. Work, life, the news, everything piling up. But over time, things started happening that didn't fit any explanation. I began waking up multiple times a night. Only, every time I woke up, it wasn't real. I'd open my eyes, get out of bed, walk into the kitchen. But the window wouldn't show my yard. It wasn't even my neighborhood. Sometimes it wasn't even my city. Once, just an endless gray field. Empty. Silent. Sometimes I'd hear footsteps in the apartment. Slow, steady, barefoot. But I live alone, and every time I tried to look around the corner, I'd wake up again. Same bed, same position, same room. But it didn't feel like I had come back. More like I'd been let go. I started fearing sleep, not because of nightmares, but because in them, everything felt too real. And reality itself started melting around the edges like soft ice. But the worst part was the feeling inside. Like even in my dreams, I wasn't alone. Like I wasn't safe, even inside myself. It happened one night, just a regular night, or so I thought. I lay down, like always. Not particularly tired, but completely drained. I fell asleep fast. Too fast. Like someone had just flipped a switch. And then I opened my eyes. My room. Everything looked normal. The nightlight by the bed, shadows of the books on the shelf, window slightly open. But something was wrong. Very wrong. I couldn't move, not just paralyzed. I felt like I was stuck beneath my own skin, like I wasn't controlling anything. Not my breathing, not my limbs, not my voice. I wasn't lying there. I was watching, from inside, like I was sitting behind someone's back, looking out through their eyes. My body lay there, calm, but I wasn't in it. And the scariest thing, I couldn't feel my body. No heartbeat, no breath. It felt like I was just a thought trapped inside a shell. I wanted to scream, but I had no mouth. I wanted to flinch, but I had no muscles. There was only panic. And one clear realization. I woke up, but not in myself. I don't know how long it lasted. Maybe a few seconds, maybe half an hour. But at some point, I realized my body stood up. Not me. I watched my own hand pull the blanket aside, watched my legs touch the floor, watched myself reach for the nightstand, grab the phone, swipe across the screen. The screen lit up. I saw my reflection. It was smiling, but I wasn't smiling. I was still deep inside, locked away, controlling nothing, just watching. Like through a goddamn peephole, my body walked to the bathroom, turned on the light, stood in front of the mirror. I stared into my own eyes and realized that wasn't my gaze. Too steady, too calm, too certain. And then I heard a voice. My voice. It said, "It's okay. I'm home." But I didn't say it. I didn't even think it. Those words didn't come from me. And right then, I understood. Someone else is living inside my body. I woke up. This time. For real. The breath was mine. The movement, mine. Everything felt normal, but something was off. Like I'd arrived late. like whatever had been inside me had left first, and I was just the one coming back. It was quiet, but not peaceful. There was this presence, like someone had just left the room, as if, had I woken up 2 seconds earlier, I would have seen them. I got up and went to the bathroom. My reflection, it looked like me, but not quite. Slightly off. A skewed stare. Slightly deeper shadows under my eyes. A faint, unfamiliar smile when I instinctively looked at myself. And that's when I noticed. There was a voice memo on my phone. Recorded at night. I didn't record anything. I hit play. A soft hiss. Then, my voice. I'm home. I'm home. I'm home. The same voice, the same words. Over and over. Even. Calm. Almost mechanical. I checked the camera app. No video. Only audio. Only the voice. Then I noticed the books on the shelf were rearranged. Not how I left them. The laptop on my desk was open. A browser tab was active. Some random website. Nothing weird, nothing suspicious. Just one word on the screen. Returned. I started fighting back, not against someone, against him, the one who now knew how to move inside my body, who could speak with my voice, who never asked for permission. Every night became a battle. I'd clench my fists, leave the lights on, set up the camera. I'd stare at myself in the mirror and say, "This is my body. Mine. I won't give it up." But he always came back, sometimes right away, sometimes after an hour. Paralysis would come softly. First he'd take my hands, then my legs, then my voice, then my face. And I, trapped inside, would scream, push, try to break the link. I'd summon rage. I'd remember childhood when I couldn't stand up for myself. I'd hear my father yelling, "Be a man!" I'd remember how no one ever protected me, and how now I still couldn't protect myself from the thing sitting inside me. There was one night when I broke free during the paralysis. I saw my body walking to the mirror, smiling, and suddenly I was back inside. I collapsed, scraped my elbow, hit my head against the wall. But I was moving. I was in control. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. Just sat in the bathroom, arms wrapped around my knees, staring at my reflection. It didn't move first anymore. For now, it's been 3 days since. I haven't slept. At all. Caffeine. Cold showers. Blaring music. Anything to keep control. Because now I know. If I sleep, he returns. I'm no longer sure which of us is the original. I remember my thoughts, my memories, my life. But sometimes I catch myself thinking something that isn't mine. A voice inside whispering, "Don't fight it. It's easier now, isn't it?" I talk to friends. They don't notice anything. I go to work. No one asks why I'm quieter. One coworker even said, "You seem more confident lately." I smile. But inside, just silence. Sometimes I walk to the mirror and stare. For a long time. Without blinking, and more often. He blinks first, and then me. A half-second delay, and I wonder, what if I've been the observer this whole time? What if the one in control now isn't me? What if I've already been pushed deep inside, and I just don't want to admit it? You know what's the scariest part? I'm not sure I want my body back. He lives better, speaks better, breathes deeper, and I just watch. And every night, right before I finally fall asleep, he whispers, "Your time is over. It's my turn to live." Have you ever experienced sleep paralysis? What did you see? What did you feel? Share your scariest or strangest story in the comments. We'll definitely read it. My name is Jake. A month ago I moved. Alone. New job, new place, the other end of the country. Everything the way it should be. A fresh start. The apartment was nothing special, in an old building. Old wiring, creaky floors, narrow windows. But I liked it. It was quiet here, and quiet was all I needed. I unpacked some boxes, found a mattress, turned on a desk lamp. The first few days were normal. Just Lonely, but not like before. Here, loneliness felt loud. The first night, I slept on the bedroom floor, laid down like usual, on my side. But after a few minutes, I rolled onto my back and suddenly realized I couldn't fall asleep facing the corner. Not because it was dark, but because there was a sense of depth in that corner. Like it wasn't a corner at all, but an entrance. Entrance to where? I tried not to think about it, turned away, pulled the blanket over my head like I used to as a kid, turned on my phone, some calming YouTube video, and drifted off. But right before I fell asleep, I felt the darkness in the corner lean toward me, and I told myself, "You're just tired. Tomorrow everything will be fine." It happened just before dawn. I woke up suddenly, like something yanked me out of deep sleep. My eyes opened on their own. I was lying on my back, and I instantly realized I couldn't move. At all. Not a finger. Not my arm. Not even my tongue. I was trapped inside my body. My mind was fully awake. And that was the scariest part. I tried to take a deep breath. Nothing. Felt a weight on my chest, like someone had placed a stone there. The world around me, my room, familiar, just as I left it. But something foreign was in it. The air was still. And in that ringing silence, I knew I wasn't alone. I didn't hear sounds. I didn't see anyone, but I was sure. Every cell in my body told me. Someone else was here, and not someone who came in, but someone who had been there before I even woke up. It was waiting, and I knew exactly where it stood. In that same corner, behind me. I couldn't turn my head. My muscles refused, but I could feel it. That foreign presence. Thick, sticky, like ink spilled in the air. My eyes glassed over with fear. I tried to blink, and even that took effort. I wanted to turn, to scream, to cover my face with my hands. But the body wasn't mine anymore. And in that stillness, I heard not a sound, but a thought. As if someone whispered inside my skull, "I'm here. You called me." Everything that happened, it can't be described with sounds or images. It was a feeling, the sensation of a foreign gaze, like someone had already been standing by the bed for a long time, just waiting for me to wake up. I lay there, unable to move, and I realized it wasn't getting closer. It had always been right next to me. I just now began to notice it, from that very corner where I always felt cold, where I couldn't sleep facing. From there, something heavy was slowly stretching toward me, like the air itself was thickening. I started to hear a soft creaking, as if something was gently brushing the wooden floor. Not footsteps, but something soft, dry, like fingers against glass. Creak. Pause. Creak. Not rhythmic, not walking. It was crawling. Reaching. My head refused to turn, but my eyes, I managed to shift. Just enough to see. And in that dark corner, where there had been nothing, I saw a shape. Not bright, not sharply defined, but unmistakable. A female figure, standing still, like she was carved out of shadow. She didn't move, but I could feel her gaze. And though she had no face, I felt her stare like a blade in the back of my skull. She made no sound, but I heard it. "You knew I was here. Why didn't you turn around?" I don't know how I found the strength, but at some point I managed to turn my head. Slowly. Through the pain. Through the fear. And I saw her fully. She was standing right at the edge of the bed. Taller than a person. Unnaturally stretched. Skin pale. Almost bluish gray. Her feet didn't touch the floor. Where her face should have been, there was a hole. Not a mask, not shadow. Just as if someone had cut her face out of reality itself. But the gaze, I still felt it, from that void. She was looking straight at me. Deeply. Precisely. With interest. She slowly leaned down toward me. very close. I felt the air around my face turn cold, like a fridge had opened. Her hand, long, thin, with stretched fingers, rested on my chest, and I felt weight. Wrong weight. As if it wasn't one hand, but 1,000. As if she was pulling me from the inside. Fingers touched my cheek. Then, my eyelids. It was like she wanted to close them, to make me fall asleep again. And I heard a voice inside. You wanted someone to stay. Well, here I am. I don't remember how it ended. At some point, I gasped, like I just surfaced from underwater. The room was bright, the corner empty. I could move again. The first thing I did was grab my phone, checked the time, morning already. I walked to the bathroom, looked at myself in the mirror, and froze. There was a mark on my cheek. Too narrow, too long. Not mine. I tried to rub it off. It wouldn't fade, as if the mark was under the skin, not on it. I didn't go to work. I just sat in the chair all day, staring at the bedroom corner. That night, I lay down facing it. I don't know why. Maybe. So I wouldn't have to fear it at my back. I didn't sleep, just lay there. And at some point I realized, she's here. Again. But she didn't come closer. She just stood in the corner, just like before. I blinked. And she vanished. And now, every time I wake up, I'm not sure if I've really woken up, or if I'm still trapped in the paralysis, because sometimes when I look in the mirror, I see her, right behind me, but when I turn around, no one's there. My name is Alex, and for the past couple of weeks, I'm not sure who I am anymore, or rather, I'm not sure I'm still the one in control. It all started with small things. My hands began to tremble slightly, especially in the mornings. At first, I thought, caffeine, stress, lack of sleep, the usual stuff. But then, things started getting weird. Sometimes, I catch myself walking around the apartment, and I don't feel how I'm moving, as if my body already knows where it's going, and I'm just along for the ride. The dreams turned chaotic, surreal. I'd be standing in front of a mirror, but the reflection wasn't me. Or I'd move, but the reflection wouldn't follow. Or I'd blink in the dream, but not in real life. A few times, I woke up on the floor, once in another room. No pillow, no blanket. Just lying flat on my back in the middle of the kitchen, staring at the ceiling. At first, I laughed it off. What the hell? Guess I'm sleepwalking now. But then, it got scary, especially the morning I woke up and the front door was wide open. And I know I locked it with the latch. That's when the thought hit me. Maybe I'm not really asleep at night. Or at least, something isn't. So I decided to do it. Set up a camera, in the corner of the bedroom, facing the bed. Let it record all night. Just to prove to myself I'm being paranoid. Although, deep down, I already knew. I was going to see something. Something I wouldn't be able to forget. I went to bed like usual, checked that the camera was on. Set it near the edge of the wardrobe to get a clear shot of the bed. Lights off, just the dim nightlight in the corner. I wasn't tired, just laid there with my eyes open, listening to the kitchen clock tick. At some point I blacked out. I woke up in the morning, in bed, under the blanket. Seemed normal, I guess. But something felt off. Like I'd fallen into a void. No dreams, no time. Just a blackout. Like I ceased to exist. I went straight to the camera. Sat down. Hit play. First hour. Nothing. I'm tossing, turning, yawning. Then I go still. An hour passes. Everything's quiet. Calm. And then a sudden jump. The frame jerks. Focus glitches. The camera buzzes. Like something darted right past it. Fast. And then I see me. Sitting up. Slowly. Unnaturally smooth. Without using my hands. Just rising. Like something pulled me upright. I sit on the bed. Head tilted slightly. Eyes open. But I don't blink. No movement. 20 seconds pass. Then I turn my head. Directly at the camera. Slowly. All the way. Staring into the lens. for a long time. And then, I smile. Wide. But wrong. Like, I don't know how smiles work. Then I stand up. Again. Fluidly. Effortlessly. And as I leave the frame, I say, "He's asleep. I'm not." The video ends there. I sat there staring at the screen for 10 minutes. Not a single muscle moved. Because I knew. I didn't remember getting up. And I definitely didn't say that. My name is Alex. And last night, I didn't want to sleep. At all. I stayed up until sunrise, staring at my reflection in the dark screen of my laptop. Sometimes it blinked out of sync. Sometimes it smiled ever so slightly, even when I didn't move. I fell asleep by accident. Just closed my eyes and sank. I woke up inside the dream, but everything looked real. My room, the same. The light, dim. Everything exactly as I left it. But I couldn't move. My body was frozen in the mattress. I could hear water dripping in the bathroom, the ticking of a clock somewhere, but I couldn't breathe deeply. Only short, shallow gasps. And then I felt hands. First, a light touch on my stomach, then along the ribs, as if checking the structure. Like something was inspecting me from the inside. I couldn't scream. But my mind was on fire. I felt those hands sliding under the skin. Not literally, but it felt like that. As if I wasn't a body, just a container. And someone was trying to see. How deep can I go before you break? One hand rested on my face. The fingers. Cold. Long. They spread open my eyelids, like checking if I had fully woken up. Then I heard a voice. Inside me. As if through my own mouth. "You're not in control anyway. So why do you need a body?" I woke up, if you can call it that. Sat up in bed. Everything seemed normal. But it didn't feel normal. The blanket was smooth. The pillow, untouched. My phone, charged, as if I'd plugged it in. In the kitchen, a plate with half-eaten eggs. I didn't remember cooking. I wasn't hungry, but my mouth tasted like someone else's breakfast. I opened my phone gallery. The last video, recorded around 4 a.m. On it. Me, sitting on the bed, staring at the camera. Silent. Then I said, "He'll wake up soon. I should leave everything clean." My voice, but not my tone. Flat. Lifeless. In another video, I walk up to the mirror. I stare at myself. Long. Unblinking. Then I say, "You're a good house. But maybe you'd like to be the guest?" In the last few seconds, I smile. The same smile from before. Stretched. Empty. Not mine. I turned off the phone. And I understood. If something can move my hands, it already knows how to use them. Since then, I barely sleep. I don't trust that moment when the eyes close, because every night I feel it. I'm being pushed aside. Slowly. Carefully. So I don't notice when I stop being me. But sometimes, I do notice. Last night was especially quiet. I woke up in sleep paralysis. But not in fear. In a feeling of separation. I could feel the body. Hear it breathing. Fingers moving. But I wasn't the one doing it. The hand slowly reached for the phone. Unlocked it. Turned on the front camera. The screen showed my face. Eyes open. But inside, not me. And I stood next to myself, watching my body live. Smile. Wave at the camera. Then I heard my voice. From another mouth. "Thanks for giving me space. I'll be here for the rest of your life." Now I don't know who's writing these words. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's him. I'm still here. Somewhere. Deep inside. But each day, I get less control. Sometimes, just the eyes. Sometimes one finger. Sometimes, just silence. And when I look in the mirror, I see myself move. But inside, I'm just a passenger. Thank you for watching until the end. If you enjoyed our video, please give it a like, it really helps us out. And share your story in the comments. Maybe you've experienced sleep paralysis too, or something that still haunts you to this day. See you next time. Take care. And we'll meet again in the next videos.